Hey everyone, this is Stan again, doing something a little different on our video today. I'm going to take a look at a new golf device that I ordered, just got in the mail today. This is the ShotScope V3. So what is the ShotScope V3? Well, this is a watch that functions as a golf GPS on the course, giving you your distances to the front, middle, back of the pin, distances to hazards and to carry hazards, but also works with the RFID tags on your clubs to collect data during your round. How far you hit each shot, where your misses are, how many putts you're taking, distances of putts, all that. And I've tried some devices similar to this in the past, but one of the things I didn't like with those devices is you had to stop during your pre-shot routine and tap the club to either your cell phone or to their device in order to mark which club and where you're hitting from. Supposedly we don't have to do that with the ShotScope, and it will automatically collect all that data. So hopefully that's true, and then afterwards you won't have very much editing to do in your post-round data to make sure everything's accurate. So next I'm going to open up the box and see what's inside. Alright, time to open up the box, see what's inside. So I cut the seal on the bottom, open this up. Of course, we've got the GPS watch itself. Get back to that in a second. Pull this out. A little different band than the watches that I've had in the past. So this goes on this way. Put the band through. And then it's got kind of a two-part latch. You latch the regular loop, and then it's got a tab that keeps that from flopping around. Very lightweight. Doesn't look big on my wrist at all, really. Okay, so we've got the watch. This is our charger. Open this up. We've got a clip here, and we've got some metal prongs on the end of this clip that will line up with the back of the watch. So clip it on like that, and then this goes into regular USB power source. What else is in the bottom here? We've got a quick start guide. Okay, so that'll be helpful. And we've got the tags. These are the tracking tags to put on the golf clubs. So there are 16 of them. They screw into the back of the grips and let the technology tell which club is which. They come with 16, so we've got a couple extra if you swap out clubs on a regular basis, or if you lose one or something like that. Alright, according to the quick start guide, I need to charge the device and download the app, so I'm going to go do that and we'll check in later. So the watch is hooked up to the charger. While we're waiting for that, I downloaded the app to my phone. Nothing exciting to see there yet. I gotta wait until the phone is charged up and update the firmware, and then we'll take a look at that. In the meantime, I want to see about putting these tags on my clubs. So let's take a look at what they look like. So I've got a couple different types of grips on my clubs, like I'm sure a lot of golfers do. So I've got a couple of clubs here I'm gonna experiment with. So I've got my sand wedge and my driver. So I'm going to pull out these tags. And for the sand wedge, you can see I've got this kind of softer rubbery tip. And it's just going to screw right in there. I don't think it'll give me too much trouble. And if you keep working at it, get that down pretty flush. Don't think that'll bother me while I'm swinging. Get that a little tighter. Okay. Now this one on my driver, it's a different style. It's got a little bit harder cap on it, so I wasn't sure how this is going to work. But looks like it's just going to go in pretty much like the other one did. So get that screwed in good and tight, and then I will keep working on getting the rest of my clubs set up. So I will come back here in a little bit and take a look at that app before we head off to the course for the first time. Alright, got time for one more quick update before I head out to the course today. Overnight, I went ahead and charged up the battery on the watch. You can see we're all charged up. Right now it's just in watch mode. You can just use it as a regular watch. In order to get it going, once you get to the course, all you got to do is hit this unlock button, choose play, and then choose your mode, GPS plus tracking, or just GPS. Haven't tried it on the course yet, so hopefully it's that simple when we get out there. And the other thing I had to do last night was get the app loaded up on my phone. That was pretty easy. Install the app, create an account, and make your basic settings. Right-handed golfer, what your handicap is, do you want yards or meters, that sort of thing. There was one other part that's kind of interesting, is you can go into your bag in the app and you actually set for each tag what club you're using that tag for, and even the brand and model. Nice thing about that is if you a few months from now put a different driver in the bag, you'll be able to tell the stats from one driver to the other.
Go.
All right, we're out at the course, finished the warm-ups. Now it's time to turn on the ShotScope V3 for the first time. So hit the lower left button with the lock icon, and we get the play icon. There are other modes, but hit the top right button to choose play, and I'm gonna take the default of GPS plus shot tracking. Now this is going to load the GPS and I have to choose my course, which they say will take a couple minutes the first time. Other times that you played the courses it should load faster. So I think we'll cut back here in a minute. Alright, so the GPS found us and we're at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club. The first choice it has is the south course, which is about a couple hundred yards away from us. So I'm going to hit the right button to go to the next course. Now it says north course, which is what we're playing. So hit the check mark in the top right and it's ready to go. So there's our distances to the front, middle, and back of the first green from where we're standing. And we're off. Alright, so the last thing you have to do on every hole is once you get on the green, it switches this pin collect screen. You see the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and then if that's not how many putts you had, you choose the next one. Will give you more options. You've got to remember to choose the number of putts that you hit, even including off the green. It'll later adjust between short game shots and putts. But you want to do this right where the hole is, and that will determine where the hole location is when they figure out length of putt, proximity, and all that good stuff. Alright, now that I've come back from playing around with the ShotScope V3, I'm going to take a look at the results. So when I returned, all I did is I went into the app on the phone and I synced it to the watch and it imported the round for me. Now the round is in the app on my phone and also the dashboard on the screen. The app on the phone is great for a quick look, but it's kind of limited what you can see and do. This is really where you want to get in there and look at the stats and do your editing. So I've only got one round in here. This is my round and it gives me an overview of my scoring and so on this screen. And then we've got this whole section where we can edit. You do get some basic stats too. So fairways, greens, so on. But I want to before I get too carried away with the stats, I want to make sure the details are right. So I'm going to go into the edit section here. And first thing I noticed when I looked at this round is it said that I shot a 79. I know I shot an 80, so I know there's one thing in here that needs to be fixed. So let me go into the second section here, or number 3 they have it as edit. So now we can go into the hole by hole and you can see exactly what the device recorded on every shot, every hole. So for the first hole here, let me zoom out a little bit. This is a par 5. I had my drive just left of the fairway, went over the green in 2, went back and missed the birdie putt, made a very short par putt. So that's what it recorded here, so that's good. Go on to hole number 2, par 4, good drive, just missed the green to the left, chipped down and made a short putt for par. Again, they got everything right, and I'm looking here, these pin positions are right where they're supposed to be. Let's skip the third hole. That was kind of a mess. Anyway, you can go through these one by one and you can see, make sure that every shot is correct, make sure that your putting lengths are good. I'm not a pro with this, but I think the main thing I'm looking at is, are the shots correct? Is the pin position correct? So looking at the score, I know that there's a mistake on the 13th hole. So they recorded me with a par, and I know I had a bogey 5 on this hole. So let's see what happened. So the tee shot is correct, got it over the hazard area, just off the fairway. Just missed the green to the right, and there's this huge runoff on that green, so I went down this collection area. And then they show me chipping up and making a 1-foot putt for par. So what they missed there is I chipped it up to the edge of the green and it rolled back nearly the same position. So I need to add a shot in here. So if I go down to here and I say 58-degree, add a new shot. So now it put a shot in here. So what I'm going to do is move this over to where it ended up. So I chipped up the slope, it rolled back down, then I chipped it up right next to the pin and made the bogey. So now we've got drive, wedge from 103 yards, a little 5-yard chip that resulted in that rolling back down the slope, a chip up to the pin, and a made putt. So that all looks good now. Pretty easy to edit. I go to the 14th hole here. Yeah, this one, I looked at it earlier. There's one thing I do want to fix on this. So this is a par 3. This is right where I hit my tee shot, but what is a little bit off here is the pin position wasn't there. The pin position was about there. So I'm going to slide that over, and then I'm going to slide this first putt over, and that's pretty much how I played the hole. Actually about right, just off to that side. Yep. So now that I've made my changes, I can just hit save and exit, and it updates my round. Sign off here, this means that you're approving that this round is accurate, and if you want to include it in your performance statistics and on their course hub for their leadership leaderboards, then you can do that as well. And they're telling me I've got some new medals. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But let's take a quick look at the performance tab here. So now you can go in and look, among other things, at how far you're hitting each club. So it defaults to the average. So my average hit with a driver for that round was 274. If I go to my longest, it says I hit a 294-yard driver. That's pretty good. 3-wood was 223. 22-degree hybrid 195, and my 25-degree hybrid, I caught one that caught a slope with the wind, and so my average is up to 224 on that. So over time, I'm sure those statistics will average out. You can also look at just tee shots, just approaches, short game. But let's take a look at something else here. So if we go into this other tab for tee shots, you can see where you hit all your tee shots. So this is all the tee shots that were in the fairway. I missed a few to the left and one to the right. And you can also say, well, just show me the ones with the driver or the 3-wood or the 6-iron. Those are the only clubs that I used off the tee in this round. And then down here you can see off of those shots, say your fairway drives, how many of them resulted in pars and bogeys and so on. A lot of information here, really. Approach shots. Now this is where I probably need to dive in here and see what I'm doing from different yardages with different clubs. Gives you how many greens you're hitting, average shots to finish. And I need to play with this a little bit, but if we look at, let's say 130 yards to, oops, let's go the other way. Let's look at from 90 to 150 yards. So that's my results from 90 to 150 yards. 3 of them were in very good shape. It tells you how close to the pin, at which hole, what shot that was. And then I had a couple that weren't so good, and those led to bogeys. If we click on the approach tab, then you can see all your approach shots and your results, how close to the target you were, and average green to success, average shots to finish. Different colors in here are which ones resulted in birdies, pars, bogeys. And if you highlight each one, you can see which shot it was with which club. So you can narrow that down and say, well, I only want to see everything that I hit with 9-iron. Well, that was pretty good. 8-iron got a little more spread on this. And you can see, well, those weren't too bad inside of 25 feet, but these ones not quite so good. Short game, similar stats here. You can look at distance out, how many shots to finish, different clubs, putting. This is your make percentage from different ranges, how many you're leaving short, how many 1 putts, 2 putts, 3 putts. At least I didn't have any 3 putts on this round, so that's good. And then it talks about your proximity to the hole from different starting distances and shots to finish. So a lot of detail, and I'm just kind of scratching the surface on this. There's a lot in here. I think it'll be interesting once I've got several rounds in here to get a really good comparison. So that's a quick tour of the stats in the ShotScope dashboard. There's a lot more you can dig into, but hopefully that gave you a good look at it and you can see whether this might be something you're interested in. Thanks for watching.